spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News Lilly Ledbetter women can't wait any longer for paycheck fairness opinion. And the members of Congress introducing the Paycheck Fairness Act on Wednesday, January the 30th, know that and want to do something about it. The young women I meet on college campuses and at rallies while I am on the road sharing my pay discrimination story believe that when they get a job, they will get equal pay for equal work because the federal law prohibiting pay discrimination based on sex has been the law for more than 55 years. They think that is what I thought, too. In the 1970s, out to be hired as a manager at Goodyear Tire Rubber Company. For nearly 2 decades, those pay decisions made decades ago directly reduced my Social Security contribution and how much I was able to put into my retirement account. They determined I constantly worry about how I will pay my bills. This month has been, while things have been challenging for me, especially now as a widow, for many others retirement can be impossible. Black women who work, according to the National Women's Law Center, a black woman, for example, to the wage gap and would need to work 26 years longer than her male counterpart to make up that lost money. This is the reality I feel the responsibility to share with the young women I meet across the country. While I was in one reason for that is our laws just aren't good enough. Loopholes and inadequate. I always tell young women they can't assume they are being paid equal pay for equal work. They must make it's time we strengthen our equal pay laws. I have spoken with but being paid equal pay for equal work shall depend on where you live. If passed, the bill will close loopholes in the Equal Pay Act, protect employees from retaliation for discussing their pay, a measure that would have helped me learn about and resolve my pay disparities years earlier, and limit the use of salary history in the hiring process. It will also require our lawmakers owe it to the young women just starting to work, to those who are starting to calculate when and whether they will be able to retire, and to those of us living short-changed retirement to deploy all the tools we can muster to close the wage gap. Women and their families literally can't afford to wait any longer.
Raindrop, drip, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.